Democratic leadership has apparently decided that the chaos at the Nevada convention is just going to be whatever they want it to be, whatever they say it is, which is why you have all of these references to chairs being thrown. And I've watched these videos, the videos not including any video of chairs actually being thrown. They just keep saying it, and the media keeps spreading it. And as well, their lack of interest in reality also translates over to Bernie Sanders' response to the chaos. So he put out a statement, and if you simply listen to the leadership of the Democratic Party, he apparently didn't in any way come down on those who were making threats, those who were being violent. In this case, violence is being stretched to the snapping edge of its definition, but that's what they're saying. So we're going to have what they say. We're going to have what Bernie actually said, but we're going to start with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Who does she think is responsible for all this? Let's watch.
When I heard what happened at the Nevada State Democratic Convention this weekend, I was deeply disturbed. Regardless of any campaign or candidate's frustration over process, there should never be a but when it comes to condemning violence and intimidation. Violence and intimidation are never acceptable under any circumstances. The senator's response was anything but acceptable. It certainly did not condemn his supporters for acting violently or engaging in intimidation tactics, and instead added more fuel to the fire.
I love how CNN gets to control the message with what they put on the screen and what they don't put on the screen. So they can just keep running, how many delegates Clinton has. And eventually they'll break it down, superdelegates versus otherwise, but they'll constantly just put them together, and that's the reality. And then when Debbie Wasserman Schultz shows up there, they say that she's the head of the DNC, which is true, she is. But it doesn't say that she used to work with Hillary Clinton, that she's an avowed supporter of Hillary Clinton, who's trying to push a narrative to get Bernie Sanders out of the race. I mean, it just screams from every pore on Debbie Wasserman Schultz's face, and yet CNN, they're not going to say that. They're not going to question what her motivation is in talking about Bernie Sanders and not accepting any apology, however lacking in vagueness and all of that.
So you touched on a really important point, because the way messages are spread and the way the news is covered is extremely important. And the political affiliations that certain pundits or politicians have should be disclosed, right? Now, it's no secret that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a huge supporter of Hillary Clinton. But when it comes to CNN specifically, they have had a number of pundits that they represent as political analysts, making it seem as though they're unbiased, and then you find out that they actually have very close and cozy financial ties to the Clinton campaign.
They're actually being paid.
They're actually being paid by the Clinton campaign.
Yeah,
now,
to do digital and TV messaging.
That's exactly right. And if you don't believe me on that, Lee Fang from The Intercept did an incredible detailed article about this, and he gave specific examples. Let me give you a few of those examples right now. So Stephanie Cutter is one of those individuals, and she's appeared on multiple networks, not only on CNN, to discuss Clinton, and is typically introduced as a former campaign official of President Barack Obama. They don't disclose the fact that she also has ties to Hillary Clinton. What hasn't been disclosed in any of her appearances reviewed by The Intercept, however, is that the consulting firm that she co-founded, Precision Strategies, has been retained by the Clinton campaign for digital consulting. Precision Strategies has been paid at least $120,000 from the Clinton campaign since June of last year. Okay, so here's the thing: if Clinton is funding your company or working with you in some way, are you going to go on cable news and criticize her? No, you're going to go on cable news and you're going to support her. Now, first of all, if I was a news director or a producer at CNN, I wouldn't have her comment on anything anyway. I wouldn't have her on the show. But if you do have her on the show, you have an obligation, a responsibility, if you care about journalism and journalistic ethics, to disclose the ties that she has to Clinton. Now, with that said, let me respond to Wasserman Schultz, because
just really fast on that, or at the very least, since you're the one as CNN letting her do her job, which she's being paid for, you should at the very least ask for a cut of the money. She couldn't do it without you. You should get 10%, something.
It's just so frustrating, because you watch that and you see the spin and you know why they're overblowing all of these ridiculous accusations that the Hillary campaign is using as a political strategy against Bernie Sanders. We're not talking about the issues that matter right now. We're talking about nonsense. We're not talking about climate change. We're not talking about income inequality. We're not talking about political corruption. We're not talking about legalized bribery. We're not talking about the issues that are actually impacting Americans, because instead we're talking about a ridiculous catfight between the Clinton campaign and the Sanders campaign. And look, it's not perpetuated by the Sanders campaign. With Wasserman Schultz, let me just say this. We do a news show, right? So let's say we're reporting on the war in Iraq, and I say, you know what? It actually ends up that invading Iraq in 2003 was a huge success. It led to tremendous peace in the Middle East. It's super peaceful in the Middle East. Now that's misinformation, right? And so we put that video up on YouTube, and I get a bunch of negative comments. Some of the comments, the vast majority, are going to say, hey, you know what? You're wrong, okay? Here's why you're wrong. Look what actually happened. And then some chunk of the comments are going to call me a stupid cunt, okay? They're going to call me a dumb bitch. Are the negative comments that use that type of rhetoric going to somehow change the fact that my reporting was wrong? No, no. So if a tiny little portion of Sanders supporters are a little too violent for the Hillary Clinton campaign, it doesn't change the fact that she's politically corrupt. Stop trying to, distract us from what the reality is of this election.
Yeah, and you're being very giving there in calling them Sanders supporters. They're people with, contextually, we assume probably support Bernie Sanders, but of course we can't prove it. I mean, it could very well be a part of Correct the Record's $1 million spending spree to help out Hillary Clinton online. We don't know for sure. But I do want to respond directly to what Barbara Boxer said. I want to see if she was right there, because she said that his apology was in no way enough. It doesn't actually denounce the violence, and she specifically said it shouldn't come with a but. Now, she's hoping there that you won't actually read what he put out, so I'm going to read it to you because I don't feel like helping her out. Within the last few days, there have been a number of criticisms made against my campaign organization. This is directly from Bernie Sanders. Party leaders in Nevada, for example, claim that the Sanders campaign has a penchant for violence. That is nonsense. Our campaign has held giant rallies all across this country, including in high-crime areas, and there have been zero reports of violence. Our campaign, of course, believes in nonviolent change, and it goes without saying that I condemn any and all forms of violence, including the personal harassment of individuals. Now, you might think, oh, John, you cut off that graphic. It had a but at the end, didn't it? No, it didn't have a but. He specifically says, I condemn any and all forms of violence, and he doesn't even just stop there. He then says, I'll even give you text messages. Fine, I also condemn them. Personal harassment that is in no way connected to me. Even if I wanted to stop it, I have no ability to stop it, but I'll condemn it anyway. And that, according to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, a known supporter of Hillary Clinton, is in no way acceptable as an apology, which is convenient and expected, because of course it doesn't matter what Bernie Sanders says or doesn't say. She's going to say this should get him out of the race. He should drop out. That's the only way that he can actually make amends for some random crazy people on the internet leaving text messages.
Do you guys understand why they want Bernie Sanders to drop out so much, right? So some Clinton supporters will email in, tweet us and say, oh, you guys don't understand. You're just sore losers. You just can't take the fact that he loses. Look, I'm not an idiot, okay? Sanders supporters hate it when I say this, but the reality is, in terms of the delegate counts right now, not even considering the superdelegates, it's going to be incredibly difficult for Bernie Sanders to win, okay? The chances are slim. That's just the fact of the matter. However, the reason why it's important for him to stay in the race is because he is the only political candidate who has actually raised awareness and voiced the concerns of the disenfranchised in this country. And when he does that, it makes Hillary Clinton look bad.
Yeah.
So essentially what Clinton supporters want to do and what her campaign wants to do is shut him up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Stop talking about the legalized bribery. Stop talking about her cozy ties to Wall Street. We want her to win. Shut up. Don't represent the middle class and the working class. That's what they want.